Hey there everyone, I'm Squeaky, and this is our third installment in the search for the greatest pencil ever. So for today's review, we have the Prismacolor Premier Turquoise pencils. These are actually a sketching pencil, and the price I paid for these was $11.68 at Michael's using a 40% off coupon. So if you want to get them for that price, that's where to get them. If you can find them cheaper, great. If not, then we'll see if they're worth it here in a minute. And anyway, these are actually labeled as a sketching pencil, not like the previous ones, the Murado Black Warrior and the Dixon Ticonderoga. So I'm expecting these to be significantly better. They are significantly more costly. I think they average out at 97 cents each. The other ones were like 32 cents or something, 47 cents. But so let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and open this pack up and see how they fare against the other two. Alrighty, so let's jump into our review of the Prismacolor Premier Turquoise pencils. Little recap. These were, excuse me, these were $11.68 with a coupon. So they average around 97 cents each, almost twice as much as, well actually more than twice as much as the Ticonderogas, and around the same for the Papermate Murado Black Warriors, because I really think you can get those cheaper than what I did. So let's open up this pack and look at our pencils. And remember, we're only testing the HB pencils. You can taste them if you want. I don't recommend it. Alright, so these do come in a nice little tin, which already, you know, you can tell that they're going to be a little nicer. And so let's go ahead and pull out our HB pencil so we can check out the quality of it. So you can see these here. These are nice looking. They don't seem as bright on camera as they do in real life, but they're real neat blue. Here's our HB. Okay, and so if we compare the quality of this to the other pencils, just in how it looks, the embossing on this is clean, not like the Black Murado at all. The Dixon Ticonderogas did have nice clean embossing. This little eraser cap thing, or it's not even an eraser, but the little metal cap thing looks solid on there. They just look nicer, you know, like they look like a better pencil. We can actually see the centerness of the lead on this one because it doesn't come sharpened. And let's go ahead and look at that right now. Clear that out. There we go. You can see it's actually pretty centered. It's really centered. There's a little bit of the graphite is chipped there, but it looks okay. We'll really get to see how it is once we start sharpening it. So let's focus this camera real fast. Okay, so let's get into sharpening this one. I'm going to do the long point sharpener on it. Okay, so just by even starting sharpening this, the feel of the way that it sharpens is already better than the other two pencils. Like the wood is coming away clean. So let's see if we can get our sharp point on there like the other two. Let's see how it comes out. Alright, so we have our lead. The lead is sharpening good. It doesn't feel like it's gonna crack like on the Ticonderoga, and it seemed even smoother than the Black Warrior. All right, so we have our point here. It's actually a really nice point, so that's good. The wood in this one, it does seem a little grainier than the excuse me, than the Murado Black Warrior, but not by much. Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and let's review how it feels in the hand. This is really close to the Ticonderoga because it has the what is it? Is it a hexagon or is it an octagon? These pencils, a hexagon. It has a hexagon shape, so it does have the edges on it, which is hard to count against a pencil because most pencils are going to be that way. That was just an added benefit of the Black Warrior, that it had that. roundness to it. But anyway, let's go ahead and write these down. So it'll be color turquoise. Alright, so we have our Prismacolor turquoise pencil. And actually writing that down felt smoother than the Murado Black Warrior. So it's not really holding up to its promise of the smoothest write ever. And I probably won't ask for the guarantee on that. But no. Anyway, so here we're testing our smoothness. And you can see, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see. I hope you guys can see. Let's see how close we can get you. I'm actually going to bring this up. Let's see. Okay. Alright, if you look at this, it's kind of hard to see because there's a glare off of the graphite. But if you look at these guys, there's some skipping in between them. Like in between the lines, like there's inconsistencies in the darkness. And on this one, it's like that's just one deal, like one pass over. And on the other two, I did 2 passovers. So let me pass over again. And you can see it's easier to see in person than it is on the camera. But there's definitely a consistency here that that the other pencils don't have. So that's neat that there's that big of a difference on that. Okay, so let's go on our range of shades. We'll go with our lightest shade. And so that's holding it from the pencil very far back. Go a little darker here. Okay. And you guys can't tell, but actually doing these shades, you can tell a lot in the difference of the lead on how easy it is to control the pencil and get your different shades on this. So this is definitely above the other two in lead quality. Okay, so let's go a little bit darker here. Okay, so basically you're able to get almost from nothing to all the shades in between. Let's see how dark we can get this. This is one pass. It already seems darker than the other two. Let me go again because I did 2 passes on those. And your range on this, on the shades that you can get, is ridiculous compared to the other two. It's pretty awesome. Like that's on camera, it almost looks like a black. On here, it's not a black, but you know it's supposed to be. So let me get you a close up of that. Okay. So see, here's the other two. Then you have that one, and since you can pretty much get any shade in between, I mean your shade range on that pencil is a lot bigger than on the other two. So that's nice. Alright, so we're gonna see how well these smudge for like shading and stuff. So okay, they all it smudges less than the other two, which is nice because you can build up your like when you're doing your shading, you can build it up little by little and not have to worry about your hand going over and making too much of a smudge. And that's neat because usually you need a real hard lead for that to happen, and this lead's already smoother and softer than the other two, and it doesn't smudge as much, so you know the quality's there. Alright, and the point retention on this is actually really good also. It's kept its point compared to these other two about the same. I wouldn't say much more, but let's see our eraser smudge test. Okay, so that was just one little pass with the eraser. It has a little bit of smudging, and so on the other, there we go. The smudging on this is way less than the other two. There's almost no smudging. So let's see how much we can erase it and how sharp of a line we can get. Okay, so this is seeing how much we can erase it. Alright, so it pretty much doesn't exist on the paper anymore. This erases way better than the other two, and it has way less smudging than the other two. So this pencil already so far, from my just reviewing it like this, is its hands above the other two. But let's go to our little chart and see how it fares against them. Alright, so now that we've done our tests on our Prismacolor Turquoise, we're going to chart up our results. I was about as happy with it as I thought it would be, and so let's see how it holds up to the other pencils. First of all, let's fix this because I made that real ugly, like I don't know how to type or something. And so we have our Prismacolor Turquouise. Alright, so when we go of the quality of the pencil, during the review we saw that it has a better quality than the other two, hands down. It didn't have anything wrong with like the outside, the embossing, like stuff at first looks, and when it came down to the lead, it was definitely better than the others. So we're going to give it first place, which is going to bring our Murado down to second and our Ticonderoga down to third. Now, feel in hand, like I said, they really don't feel much different, but I guess just because of the quality of the pencil in general, and I mean, it just felt better knowing you have a better pencil than the other ones. Now, that's very subjective, and the Murado Black Warrior did feel great, but I think it felt good because it's a circle, which is going to be an advantage it has over the others. But you know, we're actually going to let it keep it because I mean, it felt better, right? I mean, even though it's just because it's a circle and because of that velvety finish, I mean, the Prismacolor felt, if you gave me both of these pencils in a Prismacolor and a Ticonderoga in a blind test where I couldn't see or something, I don't know if I could tell you the difference between the two. I mean, they're almost the same. You give me the Black Murado and it does feel different. So we're going to let that keep first place. So we're going to give second place to the what's it called? The Turquoise, which is going to bring our Dixon Ticonderoga down to third. So when it comes down to feel of writing, though, hands down, the Prismacolor with its softer lead and smoother writing than the Murado Black Warrior, which claimed to have the smoothest writing. That's a hands down winner in that scenario. And then, of course, when it comes down to capability, no other pencil of those three has had a wider range than the Prismacolor, and it was just smoother all around. It erased better, so it was just an all-around better pencil in that situation. So brings down our Murado down to second and our Ticonderoga down to third. When we have them averaged out, you can see that our lowest average pencil is our Prismacolor Turquoise, and that'll put it in first place, our Murado in second, and our Dixon Ticonderoga in third. So, I mean, it's been kind of cool that each one of these pencils has been better than the next, and that's kind of how I was planning for it to be, but we'll see if we get surprised at all with any of our other pencils. But as for now, let's go ahead and get our Prismacolor Turquoise pencil, and let's go draw something, huh? Alright, so we have our Prismacolor Premieres here, and I decided that for these drawing segments of the pencil reviews, I'll actually be using the range of pencils for the pencils that come in sets. And I know with the last two videos I only used a single pencil, but there's no other grades of Dixon Ticonderogas or Black Murados. So the drawing pencils that come in the sets, I will be using the whatever I need from the set. Probably not the full set, but whatever pencils I feel I need. And at the end of the video, I guess maybe you'll see which ones are sharpened, and those are the ones I used. I don't know. But anyway, the only reason I decided that is because most people buying drawing pencils aren't gonna be just buying an HB drawing pencil. They're looking for you know, pencil set or something. And so anyway, here are a couple other tools that I may be using during the drawing. I have my erasers, my fancy sharpener, my other sharpener, a couple other erasers, and some blenders that I might use. But anyway, just so you guys know, I won't be using anything to draw other than the Prismacolor colors, or Prismacolor pencils. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's draw something. We have our pencils, we have our other supplies. Scoot all that out of the way. Have my paper, and that's about it. Like I said, let's draw something. Alright, so we got our drawing done with our Prismacolor turquoise pencils, and I think it came out okay. You can see there was a pretty decent range that I was able to get out of those, and it was a pretty fun drawing. It's different than the other ones I did. But anyway, well, you saw the review and my opinions on the pencil so far, and so take that with what you will. And before I end out this video, I just want to give a note on these. As the individual pencil, the HB pencil landed where it did in my grading scale, but when I used the 4B pencil, I was a little disappointed with the way that it acted. I've used other sets of drawing pencils before, and as you go further down the scale of softness, so you know the higher B pencils, you do get a better, or like a darker color, and they're also a lot softer and they're easier, or they work better on the paper. They're smoother, they lay down smoother, and you can build them up little by little. But with these, I don't know if you noticed in the video of my time lapse, I did use the 6H pencil to throw down my guidelines, and that worked really well because it was really hard, so it left real light lines for me to be able to draw over. But when I wanted to get my darker stuff and some of my shading, I decided to go all the way down to the 4B pencil, and it didn't do very well. So I'm not sure if that's you know, the case with all of the Prismacolor pencils that are supposed to be softer, because I was quickly discouraged and just stuck with the HB pencil, which worked really well. And so I can't say on the rest of the pencils. The HB pencil just did it for me. So anyway, that was just a side note on those pencils so that you can make an informed decision on buying them. And now that we're done with that, I drew my thing, you go draw yours.